Hi y'all, it's your girl Bad Luck Kitty, or you can call me.
Hello, I'm Bad Luck Kitty, and welcome back to
Hi y'all, it's your girl Bad Luck Kitty, or you can call me Kitty. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. As I was sitting here, finally unpacking a suitcase, I thought to myself, and I realized that I am a part of the problem. And I think other YouTubers have to acknowledge that we're all like a part of the problem as well. And how I feel like I'm part of the problem is I'm finding out more and more about people, women, moms, I don't know about men because I don't really talk to a lot of them, moving to Merida without having a solid financial plan in place, not having solid child care plans in place, without having their shit together, you know. And I toy with the idea of like having these conversations. I feel like my channel has really turned into a point of just always telling what's going on wrong, right? And that's just not who I am. Like, I'm just a generally happy person. But you know, when I find women in situations where I feel like they are in situations to where they can be financially manipulated or emotionally manipulated due to finances and things like that, it makes me sad, right? Because I see that, you know, I posted I don't know if it was a TikTok, I believe, maybe, and I was like, I quit my job and I moved to Mexico. While I did quit my job, I have retirement income, I have VA income, I have solid financial support from my daughter's dad. I'm not like in Merida with no guaranteed streams of income and savings and things in place for me and my baby. And I've made like a really solid budget. I made videos. People are like, oh, how much should I save? And, you know, I made videos telling how much I saved and how much I, you know, felt comfortable with and what my budget was, and looking at other people's budget breakdowns and things like that before I decided to make that move. And in addition to seeing people make that move without having solid financial plans, but with this mindset of when I get there, I will find a way to make money in the community, right? Whether, you know, it's selling things or offering a service or you know, just different things like that. There's another YouTuber, Adventures with Ty. She explained how she ended up in a tough financial situation. She got here and she was getting settled and she was enjoying herself, she and her kids, and their CFE bill came. And when the CFE bill came, then, you know, they had to come up with 13,000 pesos, like 700 and something USD, and they didn't have it, you know, because, you know, they thought that they saved enough, but they didn't save enough. And when a $700 bill came around, then they were not prepared, and they had only been here 3 months at the time when that happened. And they had to, she said she asked for an extension. There really are no extensions here. There's like a grace period, but there are no like extensions. You can't just, you know, pay 40% and then tack the rest on, you know, or whatever the case may be. There's not an income tier system, or what do you call it, subsidized system. There are no social services in place where you can go and apply to have your utilities paid or your rent paid, or you know, there's not like a food stamp system here, especially for people who are here on tourist visas, right? You're a tourist. You're not even supposed to be living here, theoretically. You should just be here visiting, vacationing, and going back home according to the visa. Now, we know that's not always the case, but I see so many situations like this, and thankfully Ty was able to get her self out of it, you know, and I'll link her video below so you can see, you know, her story for herself. And I feel like a lot of YouTubers will come and they'll go around and they'll tour houses, and sometimes they'll even put fake numbers up to try and make it seem like it's lower, because the house hunting videos are the videos that do the best here, on YouTube. The house hunting videos, because everybody wants to know what the housing situation is like, because so they can do their research before they get here, right? And so they lie about the numbers, and then they get here and then they see the real numbers and they're like, oh, they're just trying to take advantage of me. And that's not the case. It's just those people's put really low numbers to try and to get everybody, like looking with big eyes and stuff like that. And then there's the other group of people that are coming here without solid financial income, with just enough, or barely enough, or whatever, and they're coming here and they're trying to sell services to other expats that are here on USD. Now, I know I talked about it in my scammers video before, and I talked about people coming here and trying to be relocation specialists and all this, whatever other services they feel like they can sell to people. Not only the people that are coming in, but also the people who are already here. But then there are people who are coming in and they're just trying to sell anything. And one of the major red flags for those people that try to sell things is, if it's the people who have been here for a while and we see USD, we tend to shy away from that, because we already know, like, our brains don't even operate in USD. Like, our brains operate in pesos after you've been here for a while. So people coming in selling services and things like that, trying to have money grabs, and hoping that they're going to be sustainable for them. Now, could it work out? It could for some people who just really need something to do. Will it last long term? Honestly, after now being here almost 2 years and hearing other expats who have been abroad for a while, they say it happens everywhere. They say this is exactly what happens. It happens everywhere. People get there, they don't have their financial self together, and they start trying to sell things to make, if they do have money, to whatever little bit they have stretch and things like that. And then eventually they burn out and they leave. And, as I've heard, other expats telling me, like, this is a normal cycle. As a place becomes more and more popular due to YouTube, due to TikTok, due to Facebook, due to Instagram, it becomes more and more popular. People want to go there and they want to find a way to get there. The FOMO, the fear of missing out. They don't do their financial planning. They don't do their due diligence, and then they get to Merida or other places, and they find out, like, this actually does cost. Merida is more expensive than some places in the States, which is crazy to me. Merida, it's not crazy to me. It's a major city, but it's just crazy that people are like, oh, I needed a break, so I moved to Merida. I need a financial break. I was, drowning. I'm like, you picked Merida? Like, there were other places you could have gone and instead of coming to Merida, but you chose Merida to come here and then complain about the prices of things. Merida, Mexico is developing. It's getting stronger economy every day. Its proximity to the U.S. puts it in a great position to build, economically. So you have to look at these things like on a broader spectrum, is what I'm saying. So that I'm here, I want to take responsibility for what I've had my hand in this, right? Because I feel like, sometimes I'm saying it and people say, oh, because of your video, I moved here. And I'm like, stop. You see this? You see how I'm harassed? Because of your video, I moved to Merida. And I'm like, oh, okay. And then after a while, they're not here anymore. Or they're like, girl, I don't know. I'm not. People act funny here and da-da-da-da. And it's just like, they expect to get here and just see just herds of black people all over the place. And I'm just like, we're in Mexico. Like, we're in Mexico. I don't know why you fully expected to see just black people everywhere, I always say go to Walmart. If you're looking for black people, you need to see some black people, go to Walmart. Or get linked up. Black Dallas has a great calendar. Send out a shootout of, hey, anybody down for drinks this week? Brothers and sisters in Merida. The other thing is, like, I feel like people don't realize people still have lives here. Full-time jobs, kids in school, kids in online school. People still are living their life. So when you come and you're just getting settled in, get settled in and start living your life, and start making some of the meetups and building relationships. You cannot expect there to be a welcome committee of all the black people in Merida just saying, hey, hi friend, welcome, here's everyone's phone number and our home addresses. I'm gonna tell you whatever houses are available in each neighborhood so you can live close to black people. And I'm going to, if you need anything, have any questions, just feel free to just text any of us day or night. That's not real, y'all. That's not real, okay? Even as somebody who moved, several times, but moving from Los Angeles to Dallas, I knew probably 4 people in the city. So only one person knew my actual schedule when I was moving with my baby. But I posted on Facebook. I was like, all right, I'm here in Dallas. What's up? And I had a friend, Lauren, who just so happened to be 10 minutes down the street. Kid the same age as mine. She helped me get set up with a whole lot of things. But it was like I didn't go there expecting that there would be a Lauren there for me. Well, Lauren just so happened to be there. Shout out to Lauren. I know she watches my videos. But, it just happened, right? But you have to give it time to find your broader community, right? I'm so perplexed, right? People are moving to Merida for the black community specifically. I'm like, that's okay, it's cool. We cool. We a vibe. I'm not gonna lie, we're a vibe. But I didn't move here for that. To have that here it's such a bonus. It's such a bonus. It's such a blessing. I love the connections that I've made here for me and for my daughter. But that you gotta stop thinking, like, decenter these things when you're moving abroad. And speaking of decentering, women, right, have to decenter this. I'm moving because I'm moving to find a man, right? If that's your goal, it can happen. But you find an African American man, it's gonna be just it's gonna be a little more challenging, right? And things like that make it harder for people to adjust in their new area. And I made a video why people are leaving, because it's hot, right? And I'm like, it's hot here. You can check the weather any given time. It's gonna hit a 90, almost 330 days out of the year. It's gonna hit a 90 something, okay? Or even feel like a 90 something, right? So yes, it's hot here. It's humid here, right? And people just be like, oh, I didn't know it's gonna be this hot. Why is everybody on the internet telling you that it's hot here? And you hear like, I didn't know it's gonna be this hot. Where are the black men at? Nobody speaks English. Y'all, come on. Like, I feel like I need to make this video so y'all can understand that it's going to be challenging. While I may just I'm more adaptable than a lot of people. I have just that's just who I am as a person. This is something I've always wanted. I joined the military thinking I was going to see the world. I mean, I saw parts of it, but not parts I particularly wanted to see. And this is just who I am as a person. So if you know that you're not a very flexible person, you expect things to be a certain way, the American standard, you probably need to stay in the US or reframe your mindset before making that move abroad. In regards to people moving with child care, child family issues, right? I know that's always gonna be a tough subject. Everybody's like, oh, how did you do it? My daughter's dad is 500% on board with her being here, her being immersed in the culture here in Mexico, her learning Spanish, her having this broader community mindset, right? We did not want to raise her with like a micro mindset. That was never something in the planning of her that was ever thought about. It was, I've traveled with her, we've traveled with her, it's definitely to give her a broader sense of the world. So he has been on board. If he at any point decided that he was no longer on board for whatever reason, I'm be honest, I'm going to respect his wish and return her or move her to an area that is on board, because I know that if he isn't on board, it's honestly for a good reason, just because he's not that type of person, right? So seeing that there are people moving with their kids and they don't have solid legal things in place for their kid, I'm not gonna say do it, right? I'm not gonna say don't do it either, but I'm just gonna say be mindful when you're doing this, how this is gonna impact your child, right? Because beefing with the other parent, it's not good. You know, it's not something that you will want your kids to see and hear, and things that go through. Also, I don't know who some people's, child's father is, or mother in that case. It could be either or. You could end up in jail, right? Things could happen. It could get serious depending on, what their resources are and how serious they are. Now, I know some people call bluff, Some people ain't got no clue where their kids at, what their kids ate last week, how old they are, what shoe they wear, anything like that. I know that it's some parents that just deadbeat mamas and daddies, okay? I know that that's real, but learning that there are things in place that not in place for the kids' sake is alarming. It's alarming, right? So also, again, I want to say in my full transparency, I came with full support of my daughter's dad in making this journey abroad. And I think that that's one of the things. It's kind of like this thing where it's not like I thought it through. I mean, child, I watched YouTube videos and read blogs. I even bought books. I bought people's ebooks. I mean, I did everything I could to try to, I could to get all the information, all the research, going online and looking at the sites and translating them into English, because on Google Chrome you can translate to English, so I could read and get not just what people on YouTube were telling me, but also getting the information directly, as direct as I could, from sources here in Mexico, right? I think that it's just this wave right now, like this is a wave, leave America, move abroad, set yourself free, expatriate. I got it, child. I'm here for it. I'm 100% here for it. But you have to do what makes sense. If you are living a financially strapped life in the U.S. and you're requiring some government assistance, you're depending heavily on child support, family support, things of that nature, you got to be clear about the move that you're making. You have to be clear about the financial plan that you set in place, because the reality is there are people here in Merida that aren't here because they enjoy it. They're here because they can't afford to go anywhere else. They're here because they can't even afford, they in places that they hate, because they can't even afford to move into another place. They can't even afford to move into better accommodations or a better landlord-tenant situation. They're ultimately stuck here. They don't have the money to go back. They don't have the money to really meet a lot of their needs. And nobody's gonna talk about it, right? Nobody's gonna tell you like, oh, I'm here in Merida, Mexico, and it's not as great as I thought it was, right? Everybody's not gonna be in a situation and they're gonna thrive. However, some people have gotten here and they came on their last $2 and they're stuck, like Chuck. They couch surfing, they room renting, Airbnb hopping, just literally just trying to stay afloat, and looking for jobs or trying to find little things, little ways to make money to sustain themselves. And it's kind of like, ultimately, do you want to end up in that situation? Like, what type of hustle do you have in you? One of the main reasons why I came was to escape the hustle. That was it. I was done. I was exhausted. I was burnt out. Been working for forever. I've been on my own since I was 15. I wanted a break. I wanted a break. My kid deserved a break. That's why this was moved for me. My why. I'm always talking about you got to know what your why is, right? So I think I really just challenge people. I challenge other YouTubers. Be transparent. Be real. Be honest. Be clear about your financial situation. Everybody's financial situation is not the same. Can you do it with a smaller budget? Yeah, Cortez Ross at Move Abroad to Thrive, he's always helping people find these really great low finds for housing, for rent and stuff like that, right? But then people get here and they go see those houses and they're like, this ain't the house, this ain't what I want. No, this is not what I wanted. I want the pool. I want the Spanish modern architecture. I want the, I want the privada. I want all this, and I want it in walking distance, even though I'm not gonna walk, but I want it in walking distance. And I want to be able to go out, and I still want to be able to go out and eat and drink with my friends and go to all the events and all the parties. I still want to have all the money to do that, not realizing that the budget they came with versus the budget for their lifestyle here is not matching up. It's not matching up. So very quickly can get here in the 20 pesos, 30 pesos, 40 pesos, 80 pesos. It starts adding up, and then you start looking at it, things like Uber rides and delivery services and eating out. A lot of those things start to add up. Especially if you even shopping out and you're buying the U.S. brand opposed to the local brand alternative. Even though some people say, the import is cheaper, I'ma still call bullshit on that, because I have yet to see that happen. To see that happen. But some people will say that and I don't see it. So being mindful of your spending, things like that. I'm naturally frugal gal. I'm a spendthrifty kind of girl, okay? That's who I am, okay? And I'm okay with that. If you a big baller, you got to rethink that, or you got to make sure you come with your finances in place. You got to come with your mindset in place. You got to come with your family support in place. You have to come and be prepared for all these things. Yes, crazy things can happen, but just the basics, seeing that there are people that are getting here and week 2, they're finding out, oh man, my money not working the way I thought it was going to work. I have videos explaining my budget, just my budget, right? I have like probably 3 videos talking about finances, either how much I spend, my average monthly spending, how much it costs me to move, things like that, grocery shop. I try to include those things because a part of me feels like this guilt, like financial exploitation is a real thing, y'all. Y'all gotta understand. And people get into situations, they get out here and they're trying to find ways to make money the way they know how, okay? Y'all remember the whole drama with the lady talking about she was held hostage because she owed some money, right? The structure, rental structure is different here. There's so many things that are so different that you have to be in a solid financial space before you make that move. Not saying you need to have millions or even hundreds of thousands. You don't have to have that in place for a monthly living, but you do need to be realistic about your budget. And then you also have to be humble when you get here. If you're coming on a $12 an hour salary and you get here, you have to look at it, right? You have to look at what is a third of my monthly guaranteed monthly income. What is a third of my guaranteed monthly income, and use that for housing, okay? That should be your max housing budget, right? And then you got to sit down and then you got to look at it. Maybe you're not going to get that, that 2-story house, or maybe you're not going to get in that particular neighborhood, or maybe you have to end up in an apartment. Maybe you don't end up with 2 guest bedrooms, right? you may have to end up, in Los Cerros, in Cortez found a house out there, 300, they're new, 300, or 3,000, 300 USD a month or something like that. So like 6,000 pesos a month out in Vega del Mayab, and I think that's Concao, little past Cholula area. They have houses out there for 7,500 pesos. There's options, but is it going to be where you want them to be exactly? Probably not. Are they going to have every single thing that you want? Probably not. Probably not. But if your goal is just to get to Merida and have easier life and slow down or something, maybe make that your starter house, and figure it out. That's what I'm saying. I feel like some people feel like I went reverse. I was in the city, in the prime location with lower rent, and I moved further out with higher rent. When I was in Alta Brisa, my rent was 16,000 pesos. Now where I'm at, far out Concao, my rent is 17,000 pesos. But we stay at home. We are home people. We are home people. We are homebodies. We only go out when we need to. It has been so beneficial to me to move out here as far as my health, eating better and getting myself back on track with being active and moving around. This has been so far the best move for me. Now, like I keep telling you, if it turned left, I'm out of here. But right now, this works. This works for me and my family. So I want to be transparent. That's ultimately what this video is about. It's about transparency. When I say I quit my job and moved to Merida, Mexico, I didn't quit my job, no income, and move to Merida, Mexico. I feel like I've talked about it enough that I live on retirement income. I feel like I've talked about that. I feel like I have gave my daughter dad, his flowers. I am by no means bashful that he is a great dad. He is communicative. He is financially supportive. I think I do a good job saying I'm not out here solo dolo on the financial, the physical. On the physical, yes, I am, physically here as her caregiver, as her mom. I'm here by myself, but it's always a text message, a phone call, and he is there. He's been to Merida to check it out, to talk to, I think we went to, she had activities or something. He was here for all that. He got the opportunity to see her life here, and there are no secrets, right? We don't do the secrets thing. There are no secrets, and she can tell him whatever she wants to tell him, and she can express. One night I went out with my friends, and she was upset, so she told her dad, Mommy went out and left me, but it wasn't because I went out and left her. She just didn't want to stay at that particular friend's place because she didn't like the nannies there. Okay, so finished my night, and I had a discussion with her, and she was like, in the future, just leave me at home with my own nanny. I don't need to go over there. Noted, right? So just certain things, I just want to be transparent as much as I possibly can. Now, some things ain't your business, like exactly how much money I make ain't your business, and exactly where I live ain't your business, certain things like that. But I do want to be as transparent as possible in hopes that there are no more people, I can stop as many people as I can by the video that I put out and saying that, I just quit my job and moved, and being some of the YouTubers, even when I got here, I was like, these YouTubers lying. I remember talking to Sharifa and Madonna about it, and I was like, I feel like she was like, yeah, it's the YouTubers, and I'm like, dang, I'm a budding YouTuber. I'm trying to do the best I can to be honest as I can, in a lot of things, because I don't want there to be, any I want Kitty said, I say a lot of crazy stuff, child, but I don't want to lie to you that it's going to be an easy transition. I'm not going to lie to you like you don't have to put in the work to learn the language. You're going to have to adapt to the culture. It's going to be changes, but it's not going to be easy. And I'm really concerned with a lot of the financial instability that I'm seeing, right? Because that's how people end up in situations where there's exploitation or abuse due to finances, all right? And that's That's one of the things, right? People trying to just find somebody to help them along with their bills, or somebody that can move in with them or they move in with them, vice versa, to try and lighten a financial load, and not doing a proper vetting to make sure that that person that they end up with is a genuinely good person, opposed to them just, they got the other half of this 17,000 peso rent, and I'm gonna get a little breathing room on the rent and things like that. So, that those are things I'm worried about. Or also the other thing, I should have said it earlier, but I'll tack it on to the end. If you make it here, thank you for making it here this far. But moving to Merida and moving in with a friend. Now, my mama always say, and I say it too, 2 women can't cook in 1 kitchen. And as a young girl, young woman, I never understood that, right? Until I grew up. I have a rule. There are no children, no people, no animals allowed in my kitchen. There are no children, no people allowed if I'm in the kitchen. There are no animals allowed at any time in the kitchen. And it's because ultimately you have your own way of doing things. A woman has her own, men too, but I'm speaking to women. I'm a woman. I can speak as a woman. A woman has her own way of how she does things in her kitchen. How she puts her dishes away, where she puts her dishes away. How she cooks, the flow in her cooking, the order in which she puts things out, how she prepares things, this, that, and the third. And if it's your kitchen, you are leased to, all right, then you make it your own, where things go. So if you ever go over your friend's house and you trying to figure out why are the cups down here when they should be up there, that's her house. It may not work, it may not be how you do it at your house, but at her house, it makes sense to her. That's her kitchen, right? And I never understood that. And so as I got older and had family members that, live with me and things of that nature, I realized what my mom was saying, 2 women can't cook in 1 kitchen. And it makes sense. AKA 2 women can't live in a house together, right? And I know people say, oh, well, that's in the Black community, and that's why we're not gonna get ahead because we don't want to cohabitate. Child, whatever. All right, whatever. It ain't gonna work. So when you move or considering making your move, if staying with your friend is an option, make sure you have a very solid, very quick exit strategy, because that can't last forever. There's a honeymoon phase where you get there, you get to hang out with your girl and have wine every night, and y'all get to catch up and chit chat. And then after a while, the reality sets in. Sis don't pick up her clothes. Bathroom's always dirty. She don't wash her dishes. Or she's a neat freak and needs everything to be meticulously clean. Or her kids put their feet on the furniture, or whatever. Next thing you know, it's not gonna work. It's not gonna work. It's not gonna last, right? You have to understand that, right? When moving abroad, making living with somebody else part of your financial plan, good luck. I'm not saying it be successful. I know that there's a group of moms putting together a Mommoon, right? I actually, if I can find the link, I'll tag it, put it in the description box below. They're putting together a Mommoon, and they're committed to this concept. I really want them to be successful, and I wanna see it. Like, I wanna tour it or something. When they get it up and running. It's a no for me. It's a hell no for me. I can't do it. I can't do it. I grew up in a very large family. I'm the youngest of 7. It was always siblings and they kids and their significant others, and child, just too many people around. I like my peace. I like my quiet. So I couldn't do it, right? But at the same time, those things can work. But I'm pretty sure there's going to be some rules, some guidelines, some contractual agreement. There's going to be something solid set in place for success of a project like that. But living with your friend as a way to supplement your income, I don't think that's a good option. Now, if it's like big sis, like sis, blood sis, or like a best friend or somebody that you live with before, somebody that you can, you've already worked the kinks out or something, and you just need a transitional place, say a week or 2, or maybe a month or something. I can see that. But you come in thinking, well, I'm gonna just stay with them and I'm gonna stack my money up. Not a good option. I don't recommend it. Have yourself together before you make that flight. Have yourself together. Know that when you hit the ground, what you got to do and where you got to go. Have your financial self together. Have your legal self together. You know, all these things need to be in place before you leave. So if you see somebody say, I just quit my job and moved to Mexico, please understand that there's a lot of subliminal going in there. They didn't leave. Hopefully they didn't leave with, you know, $47 in the bank and made that run for the border with a, you know, week-long Airbnb stay in hopes of a check on Tuesday or something. I don't know. You know, whatever the case may be. Be very cautious. And sometimes doing the harder route is not favorable. It's not the route that a lot of people want to take, because they want the easy, oh, I moved to Mexico. They want that because it sounds so easy. Oh, it's real easy, $100 and you know, da 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 da. People aren't telling you they couch surfing stories. People aren't telling you they OMAD stories, how they only had one meal a day. People aren't telling you, you know, that they dating for food. Not dating for food like women date, like, oh, let me go out and get this free meal and see how it go, but literally dating to survive, like to literally eat, you know. A lot of people aren't telling that part of the story. A lot of people aren't showing the isolation and the loneliness that they feel here in Merida, because they don't have that instant connection to the Black community or for any other community, especially if there's a language barrier and you're not willing to look stupid trying to practice your Spanish and stuff like that. A lot of people aren't saying that. Introverts, child, I'm still amazed that introverts are making this journey at the rate that they are, because, you know, I feel like those are the ones who are struggling the hardest. Every time I hear a story, well, I'm an introvert, and I'm like, oh, God bless you, child, because I'm as extroverted as an extrovert gonna get. All right, so y'all be careful. This is my transparency video to let y'all know I don't think it's a good idea. I don't encourage it. I don't support child napping, you know. And I want to say that do what's best for you. And sometimes what's best for you is to stay where you are, or downgrade, or make other arrangements in the interim until you get to where you're going to go, and then make that move abroad. Because just, you know, making that move, you know, with just a few $1,000s, them few $1,000s can be gone real fast in Merida. Real fast, them few $1,000s can be gone. All right, and I kind of feel like if I don't say it, nobody else is gonna say it. So I just want to share that, you know, not to be negative, but to be real and to be transparent and to be honest with y'all. Okay, I appreciate you all for watching my videos. Please like, comment, subscribe, and share. Until next time, bye.